Hello and welcome back. Today, let's continue our ship. Well, last time actually, our ship unfortunately did not actually qualify for, I don't remember, is it 100? So we also failed our second battle, which means that we need to start over. Well, not start over, we prestiged. We get some elements. And today, I'm not going to actually start from scratch. So while I'm not streaming, I built up a tiny ship. Well, not tiny ship, but I'm actually at 60. I built a rail cannon focus ship. As you can see, there are a few rail cannons, a few auto cannons. But I want to show off some of the new features that I have just released, I think in yesterday's patch, or today, maybe today. And the most important thing is that in the battle now, you can actually inspect individual modules. So I'm going to show you here. Let's find an opponent and let's do a practice battle. And while in battle, you can actually click on these modules and you see this kind of a panel. It's not a kind of a side panel because you can't really do anything, but you can actually inspect and see, hey, what's going on with this module. It is particularly useful when you want to sort of analyze and optimize your layout. For example, here I can see that let's see, you can see the XP. You can actually see all the real-time stats as well, and all the what's it called, status effects. And you can see this module has well, this module has actually 3 negative effects from my attack. Another thing which is very important when you, for example, sometimes you find your ship kind of disabled by the enemy attack, and that you basically see those modules not working. Oh, actually, I'm defeated. You see your modules not working, and you don't know what's like your bottleneck. And this is a way to figure out. Let me show you. See if I can show you again. Let's do a practice battle again. Let's see. Let's see. Do a bit fast forward. Okay, so you can see, well, actually, you can also see your opponent. So as you can see, I actually slow it down so that we can see more in details that my opponent, like the RC100 Corsac, is not working because it's lacking RC50. And I've already destroyed the RC50 supply chain of my enemy. And that is actually something like, if I'm my opponent or enemy, I will probably consider moving my RC50 to a safer spot, or consider overproducing a bit. It is always a trade-off, because on the one hand you want to have a very optimized supply chain, but that does make your spaceship quite layout dependent. Like if your layout is if your enemy has a pretty good layout against you, especially with the laser, that makes it quite difficult for your ship to survive. On the other hand, if you have a less optimized ship, meaning that you do overproduce your resources, the downside is that your overall power will be probably less, but on the other hand, it will be more robust, right? So you basically be able to survive quite a lot of different ship. Let's finish this battle. So I'm actually winning this. Let's see. Yes. So someone was asking me, like, how was the winning and losing decide? So if any ship hasn't caused damage for the to the enemy ship, hasn't dealt any damage to the enemy ship, it will start like a timer. And if you haven't dealt any damage to the enemy ship for 10 seconds, that damage includes all the status effects and everything, then basically you're considered lost, because it's unlikely that you won't be able. It's very likely that you won't be able to deal any more damage, which means that you're not gonna win. Let's find a new opponent. Let's see. Let's find one with laser. Is this laser? No, I think that's missile. Let's find a new one. Is that laser though? I think this is probably a laser. Let's see. This is a laser focus build. And as you can see that like now with this panel, I actually can see all the, you know, HP and all the kind of reduction, all the stats. And most importantly is probably the status effects. Let's see this one. I can see that, oh, I've got like actually 2 damage. I've got 1 damage from, wait, how is that? Wait, how did I get damage from? Oh yeah, it was explosive damage. Yes, it was from the adjacent side tiles. So I got 1 damage from the laser and 1 explosive damage from one of the missiles, I think. And here I can see that, so like my supply chain kind of broke because of I'm lacking AC30F, which is here. And why I'm lacking AC35 is because I don't have AC30 times 3. This is manual 30 times 3. And this is not working because actually, oh, well, I can show you again. Let's slow it down so that we don't. Let's see. Is this laser? No, I don't think it's laser. Is this laser though? This is laser. Okay, let's try. So and you can see that you can trace down your like your basically the broken chain and figure out, hey, what chain got broken. And in this case, let's wait for a bit. I think it's kind of already broken. So let's see. Okay, so you can already see that like here, I'm already like AC30 is already broken because AC30 is broken. So means that this AC manual autocannon 30 times 3 is broken as well. And also this will supply this one, and AC30F is also kind of not working, which kind of cascade, which causes kind of basically cascade into the higher up upstream, or basically like a domino effect, right? But this failed, so my AC30s failed, and this failed, and this failed. Sorry, this failed, this failed, this failed, and my rail cannon failed. And this RC50 supplied RC100. There are maybe a few ammo remaining, but most of them. But once the remaining ammo is kind of dead, I'm not gonna win the battle. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't have any weapon left. So one thing I would consider is my AC30 should be, let's put it at the back, right? Because it's kind of like, if you look at the HP, it's actually kind of weak compared to like the other modules. And also there's this one, which is actually, I think, does this give me extra stuff? It give me extra armor, right? Well, armor, it's because I want actually deflection, because that's against energy and that's mostly laser. So if I put these here, right, and put these here, I feel like this was a better layout. Okay, let's also put this at the back, right? Let's make sure that we actually also let's put this at the edge. The reason, oh wait, sorry. The reason we want to do that is that if there's a laser, it's very likely that it's going to hit the module in the middle rather than the module on the edge, especially this corner one. So let's put these two here. Let's do this as well. So I think this is a much better layout. And let's do this. Let's see. Let's make full use of the bonus here. So this gives bonus to adjacent tiles, right? So this is actually missing one. So let's put one here. Here. Okay. So I think all of the bonuses are basically used. So I feel this is more ugly, but I feel this is probably gonna be a better ship. Let's see if it does better. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one. Let's see. Oh, but this is a missile focused one. Okay, so missile, I think I'm probably okay with missile. Let's hope. Actually, no, I'm not okay with missile. Wait, let's see. This is gonna be a close battle, actually. This is gonna be this is actually quite a close one. Ooh, I think I'm at a slight advantage. Ha! Yes, I won. So let's find a new one. That is quite an even match, actually. I'm about to lose. Like I'm very close to losing. And we actually have a completely different build, right? So that guy has a missile focus build, like just missile itself, and I have an autocannon, rail cannon focus build. So, and the game's balance has been improved quite a bit. And now that you don't usually have, well, hopefully, unless you have a very kind of rock paper scissors, you're really kind of against some ship that's very good against you. The battles are usually quite even. That's what I find. And also there are some improvement in the matchmaking as well. Is that a laser focus? There is some laser. Yeah, okay, let's see. It's a laser focus build. And the reason I want to show you this panel is that I want to show you like how do you actually interpret, your modules or your ship's performance so that you build a better layout, right? How do you optimize that? And as you can see that like status effects are very important when it comes to like a lot of the weapons damage delivery are done through status effects. And before in the battle, you don't really see the details. And here you can see, what are the status effects? Where is it from? Why it's that? Especially when you have like missile focus, because missile are very status effects heavy. So that you actually would know that, this is by the laser, the explosive laser, yeah. So that you will be able to see what is your where is your tank, basically your tanky part, and where is your DPS. And here there's also stats here, right? His stats just shows you what kind of damage type you deliver and the damage by building. So here is the damage. You can see this is actually delivers most of the damage is done by the RC100. That's not a surprise. That's most of my build. And that's something that is very useful for to gaining more insight into your battle. So let's try to qualify. I think we're pretty good. Let's try to qualify. Ooh, this is gonna be a challenge because this is quite laser focus build. Oh, but this one is maybe one of the older one that still has quite low, what's it called? Spaceship XP, right? This one. Did we already fight this guy? I think we already fight this guy. Did we? Maybe not. Okay. Maybe I misremember. Okay, let's fight this one. So this guy has quite a bit of tech, right? He has he or she has 31 tech, and we are very low tech, but we invest our quantum. So we all have the same quantum, right? So that's how how we guarantee the matchmaking is kind of even. But within the 60 quantum that we both have, I spent most of them on modules, and that guy spent most of the quantum on the tech. So let's let's just do qualifier battle and see. Oh, okay. I see that guy. He's doing like a lopsided ship so that it will be like, actually laser would be quite good. Let's see. I think I'm at a pretty. Actually, it's close. It's closer than I expected. It's actually very close. Oof. This, it's actually a very close battle. Ooh, I'm actually not sure which one I'm gonna win. But this guy has laser, and because of the layout, the laser, I'm actually pretty good against laser. And I think I'm now doing better because I kind of destroyed the ship's production line. So I'm pretty much like that ship can't cause damage to me anymore. So I'm probably gonna win this one. There you go. It's the battle report. I was actually pretty close in the early stage. I almost lost. But because this guy has like laser going this way, and because of my ship's layout, it didn't actually hit all of the modules at the back, which is a pretty good thing. So let's continue. And that's one of the most important updates I was going to show for, I think that's in which, let's see, what version am I at? 0.3.106, right? That's the version with all the fancy, like a popover menu during battle. And the other things I want to show is all the new weapons. So I actually released or written the 0.3 patch notes with all the tier 6 weapons, and the tier 6 weapons are actually, so I can show you here. So I can go through this one by one, right? So tier 6, let's start with autocannon. The autocannon tier 6 has the, I think it's the AC76D, right? Yes. 76D buff dispel. So this is actually pretty good. What it does is that it removes all the positive status effects on the hit enemy module, plus the rear trio modules. So the rear trio means that it will remove this one plus 3 from the back. This is actually a very good one because status effects. So a lot of those ships have like very high status effects, and this would actually basically remove all those positive status effects to make them quite vulnerable. It's pretty good against those. And we have another one, AC130C Jaguar, which actually is also kind of unique, that it basically increased its own max HP, 10% max XP for each adjacent autocannon modules. So this actually the target is only itself. So basically it means that like if you have like adjacent autocannons, this would boost its own XP. So it doesn't actually boost adjacent XP, but it does require adjacent autocannons to boost its own XP. And this PC1 Portal, the plasma cannon, this is one of the new ones. This is actually, so all the cannon family, autocannon, real cannon, and plasma cannon, they're all basically on the lower part. The one thing they have in common is that they all the damage type is the kinetic type. And this actually has one of the pretty good against laser because it has a laser blocker. And the laser blocker is basically says they'll prevent laser projectile from piercing through. So laser projectiles, as you see, normally pierce through modules, and this will basically stop it from piercing through. It will basically block the laser projectiles, which are pretty useful against laser. I know that there are a lot of laser ships now, and this is a pretty good tech, although it's pretty much on the lower side. And that's plasma cannon, and this is the rail cannon, new addition to the rail cannon family, the RC50P. This is actually a very what's it called? This is like, for example, like the effect is to ignore evasion. So a lot of the ships have kind of high evasion build, right? They have the evasion booster, and they have other sort of stats that boost evasion. And this will basically make sure that its projectile will ignore evasion. It will never be evaded. And if you have a very high evasion ship, this will be very, very good because it delivers quite a bit of damage and it can't be evaded. And a new addition to the rail cannon RC100L. And these are the region, basically. One of the region-related stat effects. It's called last stand region. It basically means that it actually recover a chunk of XP when this module got destroyed. Recover XP to the adjacent modules when this module get destroyed. Pretty straightforward. And one thing that I want to talk about is how do you interpret these ability stats. For example, this one says on projectile fire. So this means that this ability would be activated on projectile fire. And this actually, so if you read the description, it says the duration 1 second, which means that it would actually activate a status effect, which lasts about a second. And the interesting thing is this module's fire cooldown is 1 per second, right? Which means that basically it will have this status effect as long as it is firing, which is very, very important, which means that you can consider, hey, this is just my, innate ability. It's like my ability that I can just have whenever I'm firing. This is how you interpret these kind of, stats. Here we have a new region-based rail cannon. This is called fail-safe region. What it does is recovers max XP per second when your XP is below, HP is below 10%. So basically, the lower your health, the more so if your health is lower than a threshold, you basically get pretty good region. Let's go here. I think these are old ones, right? These are old ones, but we have the new one from Laser family. This one actually, what it does is that it will reduce armor and deflection on the hit module, and because Laser pierce through modules, it would also reduce these stats on modules behind the front line, which is pretty powerful. If you have because Laser does damage as well, right? So what it does, what you want is to have this plus other laser. So this will weaken the defense, and then you have other laser projectiles that does the damage. And here we have the new LA2 perch, which is the laser corruptor. What it does is reduce the max XP of the hit module, and this is also quite powerful. Like all the laser, because laser projectile pierce through, all of the ability also pierce through. But because laser does reduce damage towards modules, the more it goes through, the less damage it does. The same with ability. So it will, for example, for the first module, it will reduce 40 max XP. And for the second module it pierces through, it will probably reduce half. I think it's the first is full damage, and the second is a half, and the third is 1/3. I think that's how I remembered. So this would basically reduce max XP to all the module it hits, but it does reduce fewer HP when it reaches further back. And a new addition to the Laser family is the LA2D pike. This actually is basically a damage reduction. It will reduce the damage that your opponent's ship does, which is basically, it's to say that attack is the best defense, right? So you pierce through them, and this also pierce through, and it will also reduce the damage. And if for example, if a module has multiple projectiles, let's say autocannon 30x3, it has 3 projectiles, the damage reduction will be equally divided among all projectiles. And we have this, I think I've shown this a few streams ago. This is the new weapon type, the FPV drone, or basically drone. The code name is FD1 Raptor. So what it does is that I think I've shown you this in details in the previous stream, that it basically has so all the drones have a special projectile type, right? They infiltrate, they basically target modules with the lowest XP percentage, and it would infiltrate the enemy modules until they reach the target. And this one also has a ability. It takes explosive damage on the hit module as well. And that's all the I think this is a new kind of type, but it's kind of like a derivative of the missile type, right? So with missile, we have one new one, the MS-3J. What it does is that it actually causes the target to stop production for 2 seconds, which is actually pretty good because they would destroy or disrupt the enemy supply chain. And if you encountered a ship that has a really, really kind of optimized production chain, meaning that there's no overproduction, this would cause a huge disruption to that, right? It would actually have this cascading effect, and this is pretty powerful. And this also is kind of a AOE that it does damage to the hit module plus 3 module behind it. So this is actually kind of very, very powerful one. Debuff Dispel. So this is the last, I think this is the last edition, right? This is basically the opposite, or not the opposite, but the counterpart of Buff Dispel. What it does is that when it fires, it would actually remove all the negative status effect of itself and adjacent modules. And this will basically be very good counter against ships that has a lot of like status effects. Well, actually, a lot of the weapons have status effects. And this will be a very good counter. And for example, this one would what it would do is that when it fires, cooldown is 4 seconds, right? When it fires, it will do a dispel debuff to itself and adjacent modules. And what it only lasts for, the duration says 0, meaning that it will basically do it once when it fires, and then you have to wait for another 4 seconds. So if you like, for example, if you have like other status effect during this 4 seconds between it fires, it won't actually dispel those, but it will dispel all of them when you have when it fires at every 4 seconds. So that if it basically keep dispelling debuffs, then it'd be too strong, right? So this is only basically effective every 4 seconds. So I think that's all of the new tier 6 weapons. There are quite a lot of them, and they need their balance is currently a bit early, so I'm gonna wait for a few days and figure out hey, what's their balance. I'm gonna keep an eye on the ship ranking here. You can see that I'll keep a close eye on this and see whether if something is obviously way too overpowered. From my testing, they're quite okay, and I've been doing testing myself as well. But obviously, I can only do this much, and there will be a lot of like stuff that need to be adjusted. I think that will be all for this stream. And if you haven't checked out the game, Steam Next Fest, I think tomorrow, Monday, will be the last day of the Steam Next Fest. And I'll keep the demo up even after Next Fest, but you should definitely check it out. And I will keep pushing out update to the demo until the game's release. And this and the demo would actually have most of the content with the before the release. So be sure definitely check it out. And because there will be quite a few updates, and if you check out the demo in the very early days, you might actually find out that, hey, there are way more updates, and your save might not be compatible. And in that case, it would actually show you a pop-up that says, oh, wow, your save is no longer compatible. It will force you to prestige, which is not a very big deal because you do prestige a lot in this kind of incremental games. I think that will be it. That's all I have for this time. And this will be the second to last stream because I think tomorrow will be the last day of this Next Fest, and I'll do a last stream. And that'll be all for this series. I think I've already gone through most of the details of the game, and we already went quite far with our first ship, right? We went to like 100 quantum, I think, without even prestige. And now with new prestige bonus, you can see that we actually get to the next level pretty fast. See, I didn't even actually build up more production lines. And already like at 67 out of 70. So while we were just talking, right, that was we only have this on for like what, 20 minutes. So that's like not a lot of waiting time, because by the time I already figure out, hey, what do I need to optimize, or what do I want to build, I probably already have this quantum already. All right, that's all for this time. See you next time.